Hi there, I'm Daniel Lader, founder of Lader CPA and Associates, and welcome back to our Instagram Live series where we are talking about building a successful private practice from beginning to infinity. Now, I wished for balance in my life. The universe gave me a therapist for my emotions and an accountant for my books. Now I'm emotionally stable, but only seasonally. Okay guys, so this week we are going to be talking about something really important. Managing your cash flow and best practices for growing your business with that in mind. Now we've all heard the statements, the jokes, everything about how cash is important. Cash is king. You need money to make money. All those things, they're all true. Your business won't work if you don't have a good method for handling your cash flow. So let's talk about some things. First, why does cash flow matter? Well, your business's profit doesn't always mean it means cash. Okay? Profit's not the same thing as cash. Many profitable practices still run into money troubles. Now, cash flow is the lifeblood for sustainable growth. If you've got regular money coming in, you can grow with that, even if your profits appear low on paper. And without proper planning, surprise tax bills or slow months can really derail your business. So let's talk about tracking your cash flow. This goes all the way back to when we talked about getting a bookkeeping software, getting a bookkeeper, all those kinds of things about recording your income and expenses. Now use your bookkeeping software to monitor your income and expenses in real time. Review your cash flow monthly, not just once a year, not just when you do taxes. Keep an eye on that. See the patterns. See how things are reoccurring for you so you know when you have lots of cash or little cash, and you can plan for that. Now watch for mismatches in your timing. Things like when payments are required to be made versus when they are made, when you're expecting money to come in versus when it does actually come in. Sometimes banks, annoyingly, but sometimes banks put an automatic 3 to 5 day delay or hold on money coming in. I hate when they do that. I'm sure they have a reason for it, but man, it really throws a wrench into your plans for your cash flow if your money is there but not usable yet. Now, let's talk about some things you can do to help with your cash flow. First, build up a cash reserve. This is important. This is literally a chunk of money sitting there to help you out during slow times. Aim for a 1 to 3 months of expenses. Keep that in a separate savings account so it can be drawn from as needed. This is not the same thing as your the business is crash and burning fund, need to use it now. This is more of a use it when you need it, replenish it when you don't need it. That type of fund. Now, another thing that will help you is to set up automatic transfers between your regular business checking account and your savings account during good months. That way, it's automatically pulling it out. You don't have to think about it. You know it's going to happen, and you're not required to actually put presence of mind into doing it. You know it just happens. Another thing I like to recommend is for small businesses to look into opening a line of credit for your business. This has the exact same purpose of a 1 to 3 month cash reserve to use. Basically, use it when you need it, repay it when you don't need it. The only difference is it will charge interest compared to your cash, but it's a lot faster to get a line of credit than it is to build up a reserve of cash. My advice, do both. It doesn't hurt. Having a line of credit that just sits there doing nothing but wait for you doesn't cost anything. Now let's talk a little bit about timing of cash to improve your cash flow. First off, get your money quick, get your money fast. When you're invoicing clients, invoice them immediately as soon as you're able to, after the session, end of the day, etc. Send those invoices out so you can get paid sooner. Send follow-ups occasionally so that you can be paid. Use your client portals or your EHR system with auto reminders to automate that and make sure those happen sooner. And also for those clients who have a little bit of difficulty paying on time, consider things like charging late fees or requiring a partial payment up front as a down payment, mostly for those clients who have difficulty paying on time. But the idea is you want your cash to arrive as soon as possible, as fast as possible. That will improve your cash flow strength. Now let's look at the other side, expenses. Here is the total flip. You want to pay your expenses as late as possible, as delayed as possible. Don't have penalties. Don't do penalties. Don't go that late. But if you're given 10 days, 30 days to pay a bill, take 10 days or 30 days to pay a bill, or when the cash flow is manageable. That will let you bring in cash, that will let you send out cash slower, have more control about the outflows if you are in control of when it goes out. Now let's talk a little bit about specifics. Large purchases you need to make, delay them until your cash flow is strong, or delay them as late as you are able to reasonably. You have deductible expenses that you might have at the end of the year. For example, if your cash is strong and good at the end of the year, if your landlord lets you prepay 6 months of rent, do it. That will let you pay for rent during a strong cash flow period. It still makes it a deductible expense for your taxes. And when you're in a slow period, like in the summer, you may have already paid that expense and you don't have to worry about it for your cash flow. Also, when you do need to make required purchases, like buying new supplies, equipment, etc., or hiring additional people or anything like that, space that out. You don't need to make all your purchases at once. You don't need to hire all your employees and contractors at once. Spread that out to what the need is. Basically, the idea is get your money due to you fast. Money you're paying out, delay that as much as you can reasonably do. And that's kind of one of the key components of having a good cash flow, is controlling your expenditures and getting money in as quick as you can. All right, now let's talk about your tax situation. We're a tax firm. That's all we think about, taxes. Now, your tax bill, you don't want to have a gigantic tax bill on April 15th. That will screw up your cash flow. So instead, set aside a certain amount of money every month, every time you have income, etc. That way you have that set aside and prepared to pay your taxes. Depending on what you need and who you ask, it could be 20%, it could be 30%, it could be 15%, it could be more or less, as long as you do have a plan and are setting something aside. Now, if you talk with me and my firm, our first recommendation is prepay that or set that aside through your own payroll withholdings. Adjust those payroll withholdings regularly, so it's prepaying your taxes a little bit every paycheck instead of all at once in April or 4 times a year or anything like that. It's just easier doing it through payroll. Another thing for planning for your taxes to avoid problems with your cash flow, run a tax projection. Middle of the year, near the end of the year. That'll let you know what's coming up and you can plan for any cash expenditures you might need to make. Now, growth, most of us have the goal of growing our business. If that is one of your big goals, managing your cash flow and getting into those good habits now will help you with that growth. So first off, hiring someone. There's a couple strategies, a couple recommendations. One that is beneficial for your cash flow is only hire additional people when your cash flow can support that. So you're not having to go into the negative or draw out of reserves to make any salary or wage payments. So hire someone when you have the cash flow for it. And secondly, hire someone when you have the cash flow for it then. Not in the future when you might be busy but might not have the cash flow for it, but hire someone then. So those are things to think about. A lot of it is a judgment call. Now, you're not going to make decisions for your cash flow based on emotions or feelings or panic and anxiety, like a lot of us do. I do. But what we want to do is we want to make decisions that affect our cash flow based on judgment, based on good data, good information, reliable advice from a professional we can rely on and trust. Those are when we want to make cash flow decisions. Now, also, I mentioned talking with an advisor. I always recommend talking with a financial advisor, a CPA, even your bookkeeper about when to make decisions that are going to affect your cash flow. All of them will have an idea and some input on what you can do to either spread out your cash flow and make it easier, or handle it when you have good cash flow, or predict when you will have a strong or weak cash flow, so you can make decisions to reduce those effects. Now, I have some questions I want you to think about that will help you with working with your cash flow. First, what is your current cash flow buffer? Is having 1 month of reserves enough? Is having 2 to 3 months of reserves enough? Do you need a line of credit to supplement that or cover you in the short term? Think about what your needs are. If you're an annually seasonal practice, you have a slow time in the summer, it picks up in the fall, etc., then you might want to look at having a 2 to 3 month cash reserve just in case. If your business is a lot more reliable, a lot more steady, you're in a demographic that doesn't go away in the summer or in the dead of winter, then you might have a smaller cash buffer. It just depends on what's needed. Again, talk with your CPA, talk with your bookkeeper about what your patterns look like. Also, remember, part of cash flow is making sure your business works so that it's profitable for you. Are you paying yourself regularly? That's another tool a lot of business owners don't realize they have. Pay yourself out of your business regularly. That cash will go to you, either as salary or as a draw, whatever it comes to. But when you're paying yourself regularly, that also gives you a little bit of flexibility in the downtime for the business. You can reasonably cut or reduce your own pay for a short period of time to help the business out. Or when the business is doing great, increase your own pay to supplement yourself and to even out the business as well. That's another tool, one of many tools you can be using for your business. Also, do you have a tax savings plan or a tax strategy that's going to help you reduce whatever your April 15th tax payment will end up being? That's where you might want to talk with a professional, a CPA, a tax strategist about getting tax plans put in place for you. Now, cash flow is a very interesting issue. It's not, or a very interesting topic. It's not one that it's just a nice checklist of things to do. It's more of looking at it regularly, reviewing it regularly to see what tweaks, what changes might be needed, and looking at different tools that you can use to improve your cash flow. So if you have any questions about this topic, feel free to leave comments below. DM me with any questions. I'm happy to answer any questions I can as I'm able to. Now, if you would like to schedule, that was not an earthquake, that was a foot. Now, if you would like to schedule a free call with my firm, with someone at my firm, including myself, then go ahead and DM me. Let me know you want to have one of our discovery calls. We'll send you a calendar link you can get onto our schedule, and we'll have a free call to discuss your business, your tax strategies, and what we can do to help you improve them. Go ahead and follow, subscribe to our channel so you get any future notifications on events like this or receive our tax tips that we're regularly posting. And go ahead and visit our website, latercpa.com. Now, I will see you on the next video. And remember to have a great weekend and keep helping others to help themselves. Goodbye.